once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Dr. Rule Show. I'm your host, Dr. Franklin Rule, and today we ask if Martians established the ancient Egyptian civilization. But first, scenes from the 1954 thriller Devil Girl from Mars, starring Patricia Loughlin as Naya, along with Hazel Court and Hugh McDermott. Video footage assembled by noted videographer Benny Goose. Now, without further ado, roll tape! So there's the type of spaceship that might have landed on Mercury. Because we have the photographic evidence, and the astronomers say they're absolutely baffled as to what it is. Right now, that's white hot, so there's no way they could approach it. You can't get any closer. It's white hot. I just said that.
Professor, how do you think it looks now?
It's red hot.
Red hot?
I just said that.
That means it'll be at least 2 hours before we can...
At least 2 hours, yes. Maybe 3. Naya, portrayed by Patricia Loughlin. There's a guy that reminds me of myself. I'm coming up to greet the alien. Let's see what happened. Yeah, I'm clumsy like that too. God, I could have handled that role. Uh-oh. He senses that he's in trouble. Oh, God, she's after me. Not a very friendly gesture. Who are you?
My name is Naya.
Where do you come from?
Mars.
But that's preposterous.
You're
preposterous.
Not to be expected.
We scientists were always skeptical about the possibility of life on Mars.
Not all of us, buddy.
You are a scientist? You are a very poor physical specimen.
Speak English.
Of course. You are English, aren't you?
What should you be speaking, Tadjika Stansky? You speak other languages. Of course, he picks up the radio waves.
Pick up our radio.
Of course.
Is this the first time any of your spaceships have landed on this Earth?
Yes, this is the first landing.
Why did you land here?
A miscalculation. The course was set for London, but the planet's atmosphere was bigger than expected. A part of the ship was thrown off.
The supposed meteor, Professor.
Repairs will take about 4 Earth hours.
That's Hazel Court.
Reproduce itself.
The metal reproduces it.
Do you realize what you say?
They've turned the inorganic into the organic.
Just why are you going to London?
Many of your Earth years ago, our women were similar to yours today. Our emancipation took several hundred years. Ended in a bitter, devastating war between the sexes. The last war we ever had.
So you've had wars too.
All advanced planets have had wars.
Some have ended by wiping themselves out. Every new weapon invented, the defense was perfected, until the ultimate weapon was developed. A perpetual motion chain reactor beam.
What form did it take?
As fast as matter was created, it was changed by its molecular structure into the next dimension, and so destroyed itself.
So there is a force.
Of course.
After the war of the sexes, women became the rulers of Mars, but now the male has fallen into a decline. The birth rate is dropping tremendously, for despite our advanced science, we have still found no way of creating life. So you come here for new blood, in a way. Also to test a newly invented organic metal of which my ship is built. On Mars, some think I will not return, but the metal is too unstable. But when I
Welcome back, and an excellent performance by Patricia Loffin as Naya. Also, excellent special effects despite this being a low-budget production. So the rule scale, where first magnitude's best, 10th magnitude worst, The Devil Girl from Mars from 1954 garners a 2.75 rating. Yes. By the way, Hazel Court was my honored guest on my show and disclosed that she was often mistaken for the villainess in this movie when she is actually the heroine and the human. Hazel, of course, known as the best screamer in the business. And again, I thank you for having guested on my show. Now, the trivia question of the day. Let me extricate it here from its paper prison. The question: how many Egyptian dynasties were there? Multiple choice: 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50. Now the prize, the only prize for the correct answer, one pat on the back that you'll have to administer to yourself. Heck of a lot better than a slap on the belly with a wet trout. Now let's look at the celebrated face of Mars, photographed back on July 25th, 1976 by the Viking 1 orbiter from an altitude of 1,170 miles above the northern area of Mars known as Cydonia. Please note that it appears to be a humanoid face with a hairline, eyes, nose, mouth, chin. Size about 2/3 of a mile from ear to ear, 1 mile from crown to chin. Certainly appears to be a humanoid face. And let's take a closer look at it encircled in red. As I mentioned, that two NASA imaging analysts actually looked at it with a computer and found that it was inherently different from the surrounding terrain, suggesting that it was a created as opposed to a natural structure. And a few years ago in the Journal of Applied Optics, another analyst found that from every conceivable viewing angle, the face of Mars retains its integrity. In other words, it's not a trick of light and shadow. It's not an optical illusion. Now let's fast forward to 2004 and the Spirit rover in the Bonneville crater of Mars. It found another face. And I'll rotate this 90 degrees so you can look at it more clearly. This appears to have eyes, mouth, chin, and a cone head. This face is of human size. It's not titanic like the face of Mars. And for skeptics, I point out that we on Earth have the 4 presidential faces at Mount Rushmore, the 3 heroes of the Confederacy down at Stone Mountain in Georgia, and of course the Sphinx in Egypt. So intelligent entities could have created both of these faces, the large one and the small one. But the cone-headedness of this one suggests possibly that ancient Martians who had cone heads established the Egyptian civilization. Why do we say that? Well, first of all, we have their top god Osiris, seen here with his beloved Isis. Osiris always depicted wearing a cone-headed headpiece, suggesting he indeed was a cone head. Then we flash forward to 3500 BC, and we have Menes, who established the first Egyptian dynasty, who united Upper and Lower Egypt, always depicted with a cone-headed headpiece. Then we fast forward to 1483 BC, and Akhenaten, possibly the father of King Tut, always depicted with a cone-headed headpiece. And, of course, his celebrated bride Nefertiti, seen here and also in the statue, always with a cone-headed headpiece. And in addition to that, this depiction of them with 3 of their children, 3 daughters, I've encircled them in red. They all had cone heads. And to see that more clearly, we have 2 depictions from when 2 of the girls were teens, decided cone heads. Now there are 3 working hypotheses here, that all of these individuals were Martian cone heads. A second possibility is that they were halflings, that is, half human, half alien. And the third possibility is that, especially with these children, that at birth they had boards placed around their heads to impart a cone-headed configuration in honor of their ancestry. And these 3 hypotheses are not mutually exclusive. It's certainly possible that Osiris established the beachhead in Egypt. Then Menes, Akhenaten, and Nefertiti were halflings, and the daughters of Nefertiti were those who had the Conehead imparted to them. So I think that's certainly within the realm of feasibility, certainly possible that advanced entities existed on Mars and then colonized Earth. They may not have been originally from Mars. They might have been aliens from a planet beyond our solar system who first established a beachhead on Mars and then came to Earth. And again, I argue that the Martians may still exist on the red planet today. Perhaps as the Martian atmosphere thinned, they moved underground and are still existent today. And I point out just a recent discovery, water found in the Mariner's Valley. That's the equivalent of the Grand Canyon on Mars. Now, personally, I don't think water is necessary for intelligent life, but when it's present, it always argues more efficiently for that possibility. So, again, I believe it's possible that ancient Martians established the Egyptian empire based on this evidence. Now, for that trivia question, how many Egyptian dynasties were there? 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50? And you say 30, absolutely correct. There was a 31st, but that was the Macedonian dynasty established by Alexander the Great, which included Cleopatra and 7 other queens with that same name of Cleopatra. Now, until next time, may the power of the cosmos be with you. Yes, yes.